It is Election Day in Central Illinois, and the polls are open for another hour until 7 o'clock. Voters casting ballots for mayor, city council, school boards, with several referenda across the area as well. Good Tuesday evening. I'm Tyler Lopez. Thanks for joining us. We do have live team coverage of some of the biggest races, including the mayor's race in Peoria, Bloomington, and Washington, plus Normal. We start with Taylor Fleming live in Peoria. Taylor?
Tyler, today is the contest between incumbent Peoria Mayor Rita Ali and her challenger, John Kelly. Ali has been mayor since 2021, and before that, she served on city council. She wants to bring passenger rail to Peoria, and she thinks it takes a village of community advocates to reduce crime. She's also hoping voters give her a chance to continue initiatives she started as mayor. Kelly is an at-large member of Peoria City Council. He argued for policies boosting economic growth and deregulating businesses. He wants to make Peoria a growing city and thinks a highway would be better than passenger rail. Both Ali and Kelly have recently voted to give homeless advocacy groups funding. Kelly voted for the city's public camping ban, and Ali voted against it. Reporting live in Peoria, Taylor Fleming, 25 News.
All right, Taylor, now we turn to the Twin Cities. The incumbent mayor of Bloomington is defending his spot against two new candidates. Gianna Zhao is live at the McLean County Government Center in Bloomington with a look at the race for mayor there. Gianna?
That's right, Tyler. Voters have big decisions to make for this consolidated election regarding who will be the next mayor for the city of Bloomington. Mayor Mboka Mulambwe is seeking a second term. He says he wants to keep focus on the work within the city of Bloomington, affordable housing, expansion through rehabilitating old vacant homes, infrastructure improvements, continuing maintenance of roads, streets, and quality of life by enhancing diversity within the quality of life, ensuring public safety, economic development, working on the city streetscape plan within the downtown area. His opponents are former Illinois State Representative Dan Brady and Ward 6 Council Member Cody Hendricks. Both have similar approaches, but want to conduct each topic differently. Dan Brady's focus is pushing for protection within the city of Bloomington by securing more of a safety presence, securing tax dollars for infrastructure improvements, creating housing affordability by working with developers on creating more competition for housing. And the polls will be open until 7 p.m. We'll keep you updated throughout this entire election process. Live in Bloomington, Gianna Zhao, 25 News.
All right, Gianna, thank you. As she said, the polls open until 7. We head to Washington now, where two city council members vying for the spot of mayor after the current leader announced he will not seek re-election. Liz Lape joins us from Washington with a look at how this race is shaping up now. Liz?
Tyler, for the first time in a quarter century, Washington voters will elect a new mayor. Two candidates are running to replace the current mayor, Gary Menier. Lilia Stevens has been on city council since 2019 and is a retired high school teacher. If selected, she hopes to fill the city administrator position, boost economic development by reviving the city's Economic Development Council, and create a citizens advisory committee that includes young people. Mike Brownfield has been on city council since 2013 and says he also would like to find a new city administrator. He also wants to increase communication and engagement with the voters. As for the proposed Washington amphitheater, Brownfield says he needs more data to make a decision, while Stevens says with the information as it is today, she is against it. If Stevens would be elected, she would become the first woman mayor of Washington. Live in Washington, Liz Lape, 25 News.